Hello everyone, how you doing? You're very welcome to this week's Roscommon Athletics with myself, Aidan Raftery. And of course, as always, we have joining us especially this time is Donal Flynn, who is the chairman of the county committee and also the Suck Valley Athletics Club as well. So hello Donal, how are you? Are you well?
Aidan, how are you getting on? How's
Not too
things?
bad. Welcome aboard the Rosfm sports train, and we hope to discuss some great events that has happened, and we look forward to events that are happening, and indeed another some more developments on I suppose the progression of a running track in the town as well. So we've
Yeah.
plenty to talk about, and I suppose. You know, it's been quiet as regards kind of running and all the other athletics, but it's around this season now that is the cross country. So what's been going on over the last couple of weeks or that with regards to the cross country?
Yeah, the cross country starting. I suppose during the summer we get a little bit of a hiatus. The finishing up of community games, kids that qualify for the community games finals go down to Carlow and compete there. And then we have Holly Kilroe from Roscommon who compete in the Youth Olympics again this year during the summer. So that's kind of all wrapped up now, and we're into what's called cross country season. So that kind of starts September time, October time when kids go back to school. So for us, Roscommon County, we had our primary schools cross country out in the racetrack in Roscommon. And last year we used the racetrack as well, and we it's a great venue, great event, and we really appreciate Roscommon Racecourse letting us use it for the day. You know, because it has the toilets, it has the stand, it has the car parks. You know, and you never think of those add-ons when you're trying to hold an event.
Mhm.
And of course, it's got the field as well. So yeah, we had primary schools cross country there, and we had 952 young kids running and competing, which was there's four races. We divided into boys third and fourth class, girls third and fourth class, girls fifth and sixth class, and boys fifth and sixth class. So it's equally divided between 220 and 250 per race.
That's
And
it.
it's great to see like you have your winners, but it's actually just to see so many competing. Like, and a lot of the schools, the bigger schools, then have you're only allowed so many from each school, so they'll have kind of trials within their school once they go back, and they'll be practicing every day during lunch break. Or it's great. There's certain teachers that kind of have an aptitude for the running or love the running. They'll bring the kids out and train them and coach them and get them ready for the event. And it's a wonderful event. If you're ever around sometime, come out and see it. Just sit in the
Definitely,
stand and
yeah.
watch it. It's lovely. But yeah, we had all over County Roscommon from north down to south, and we had kids from Ronan's, Tarman, Castlerea, Boyle, South Roscommon. There's a Korea National School that's very well at every year. And we had the town team, St. Coman's Wood, won the girls' fifth and sixth class, and then a boy, Samuel Godfrey, as well, won the boys' fifth and sixth class individual. So they all went off this week and competed in the Connacht finals. All the 12 individuals that come in the first 12, they go, and also the team, the top team from each event goes to the Connachts. And St. Coman's Wood went to the Connachts, which includes Longford as well. It's not just the six counties. And the fifth and sixth class girls won that event this week. So they're Connacht champions, which is a wonderful, wonderful achievement. And a mixed group of kids from Roscommon AC and Suck Valley AC. And young Samuel Godfrey also medalled in his category, fifth and sixth class boys. He was in the top 12. I think he was seven. So that was wonderful. Like it's wonderful to see them winning, and you need a bit of that, but it's also wonderful to see so many compete. Like, just see kids at different levels. You see the kids coming at the start, kids coming in the middle, kids coming at the end. It doesn't matter. Once they're all, every one of them kids that takes a step is taking a step further than the people that just sit in the stand watching it or don't do it. So I'm big in participation and getting them out running, and you never know what kid 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They might just get a huge grow for it later on in their teenage years and stay at it, and into adult life as well. And we all know not just the physical benefits of it, but also the mental health benefits as well. So yeah, I just love to see them all taking part and getting a love of it. So
And of course as
cross
well,
country is a tough one to love,
yeah.
but it's a tough event. They won in a kilometre and a kilometre and a half in Roscommon, and they're going now to we've finished that now. So the next ones we have coming up is the Connacht cross countries, and they're longer events. So we have they do them in what's called evens and unevens. So the evens are like under 10s, 12s, 14s, 16s, and unevens then are under 11s, 13s, 15s, and 17s. So if you're 12 years old this year, you're under 13, so you can compete under 13, but you can also compete under 14. So they have the evens event on the 22nd of October in Westport, and then the unevens will be on the 5th of November, and that's in Ballymote and Sligo. So we share that around in Connacht. So they compete in Connacht and see how they get on from there, and if they do well, they'll go on to the All-Irelands after that. We had a couple of kids last year that took part in All-Ireland, so from the different clubs in the county, so it was brilliant.
And I suppose really from it's great for parents and it's great for the kids, and they make a lot of friends out of it. It's a healthy lifestyle, and you learn a lot from any sport. And to an extent, it is a team sport. It can be a team sport in one sense because there can be a number of people, but obviously it's also an individual thing as well. But it's great to see the kids, as you said, especially with the way society is at the moment. It's great to get out there on the track and look. I suppose some people are suitable to football, other people hurling, some people rugby, and other people athletics and cross country. It's all about. But this is really it's an endurance sport, isn't it? Really, and as you said, there's uneven and even, and then there's kind of hilly parts and then flat parts, and so it's kind of how the muscles adapt. Sorry, that's getting a bit into the biology of it.
No, it's true though, yeah.
Yeah, so it is kind of endurance as regards the distance and time and things like that. So I suppose that's where training comes in. But I suppose at underage level, it's kind of especially kind of around the 14 years of age kind of mark. Some kids go through like growth spurts and different things like that. But it's also kind of as you said, under 10s, 11s, 12s, kind of that area. They're still developing, but also these kids develop at different paces. So, not every child will be at a certain stage, at under 12s, and, as they go through it. So some kids take longer to develop in their chosen sport, in their chosen field as well in athletics.
Definitely. Yeah. It's amazing. And even in football and rugby and any sports like that and soccer, they do come at different ages, and you often find that the kids that are good at football are the kids that are great at running too, and you're trying to say, well, you do a bit of running as well, but they're too busy, and the kids that are good at one thing tend to get pulled into everything, especially when they're younger. But the other kids do catch up or pass out when they get that little bit older, and they have a different kind of love for it too, so they tend to work harder at it because it doesn't come as natural for them, so yeah, running, you have to work at it, but it's a great social event. Like, the kids go there and they get to know the other kids from the different clubs in the different counties, and they recognize faces, and they go on, met you at the last event, and how did you get on? And if they do kind of middling well, it's great incentive to train, and they'll go out and train and push themselves a little bit harder and see if they can get on better the next time. And it's there's huge benefits to that, but there is a great social side to it, which you mightn't think of. Like, running can be a tough event. When we look at our Olympians, it's a very solitary kind of event.
Yeah.
But it's great to see the social side of it and the team element of it too. So the training is good when they can train together and enjoy it.
And of course, at the events itself, like, you have the kids, you have the parents, you have the coaches. They all come together afterwards. But I suppose that is the key. That's the essence of it. At that age, is it has to be fun. But the key thing to it as well is the support from the parents, and I think that has been shown in these events over the last number of years as well, and that's key to it, because if the parents show an interest or whatever, then they'll stay in it longer, because I suppose it's a great way of setting goals as well, and you can bring that into the kids can bring that into their personal life, of like what they want to achieve in life as well, so there's kind of all these elements to it. But it is great to see that. But also, I suppose more on off the track things will be, you just said those, the events that have happened already and the events that are coming up. When you have 900 kids, like you just said, there is a serious amount of organising. I mean, you have a committee there, you're the chairman at county level and of course club level. So I suppose from your point of view, how do you distribute all the responsibilities and then kind of from that organize how many is in each event or how it's organized? Can you take us a bit through that a bit?
Well, we have a team, I suppose. Look, it's delegating to the different skill sets. Like we have a wonderful team of people, a mix from all the different clubs. Some people are just very, very good at computers and organizing spreadsheets, and like they're geniuses at it. Like even on the day, we're able to get results tabulated and put together within 20 minutes or half an hour on spreadsheets. That's not me that does that, but there is a couple of people that are very, very good at that. There's a couple of more of us that go out and set out the track, and we'll spend a day or two kind of lining out the track and fencing and putting up fence posts and that. Then we all get together. We have 2 or 3 Zoom calls and meetings, planning what we're going to do. Getting our civil defence ready, and getting our parking sorted, getting our toilets sorted. There's all those things in the background you have to think about.
Insurance as well, all these little things
there's
that people
all the
wouldn't
emails
think
and
of.
instructions going off. Then you have to have the envelopes ready with the race numbers for each school and their safety pins, and make sure everyone is entered and everyone is there. And then on the day, I suppose they come early, they get set up in the stand, and then we have our start ready. And just getting all their kids, like it's like the racetrack is wide, but you still have the guts 250 kids wide on it, so it's still not wide enough, so there is a bit of jostling, there's a little bit of football or rugby kind of element to it at the start, and you're kind of minding that and monitoring them. You have people all the way down the track to make sure that everybody's okay all the way down, that they make their turn in the right spot, they don't get lost. And then we have a finish line. We have about 3 or 4 people on the finish line and another 4 to 6 taking records. So as they come in, we kind of get them into chutes as quick as we can, so we can keep them in the right order in the chutes. Like you can imagine 250 kids, Aidan, coming in in the space of a minute or two, and you're trying to take down their numbers as quick as you can and the order they come in, and to try and keep them coming into the chutes, because they're all wrecked. Well, especially the kids in the middle and towards the end, like a kilometre and a half, as hard as they can, and they're just wrecked and ready to fall down. So it's there's a good bit of work in it, but it's enjoyable to watch it, to be honest. It's lovely to see it. But it comes together. We have a great young team, and we have some of the old guard as well still there. So that's wisdom and advice. And the young team are enthusiastic, and we're learning. And every year we're learning a bit more, and we're getting a little bit sharper at it and getting more involved in it. So yeah, it's working well. We're a great team. We work well together, and just seems to click. So,
and I suppose another aspect of it is, like, when as you're organising it, but then there's kind of, I suppose letting clubs know, and letting clubs and colleges and schools know about the event. So, and I mean, I suppose it's that bit more easier to kind of get the communication out nowadays. Like you have social media, you have emails. There's so many. It's a lot easier to we say text as well. It's a lot easier to kind of get, send out the publicity or the communications to all these clubs now, and it's a lot quicker. We say compared to, I suppose, years ago, it would have been letters and this, that, and other. Now it can be sent in emails and put up on websites and sent on Facebook and all these kind of things, which is great. It makes it a lot easier.
It's instant. It's there straight away. I suppose the only downside is you have information overload. There's so much information out there, some of it gets lost. But yeah, it is brilliant. Like you have your Facebooks and your WhatsApp groups and your Twitters and all those things. Now, I'm no social media kind of guru, but even the basics, we can all use them and get a savage amount of knowledge out there very quickly. And there's no one better at them than the kids themselves.
Absolutely. And I suppose, nowadays, I suppose it's a lot easier to access it, and people find out about it obviously as well, but also the growth of athletics, I suppose, in Ireland. You're seeing now at the Olympics, how well Ireland do in the Olympics and the World Championships and all these kind of things. I suppose in boxing you have Aoife and Lisa O'Rourke. in athletics now you have obviously Holly Kilroe as well. She's paving the way, and I think that's great for the kids too, that they have kind of that kind of hero or someone that inspires them. Like as I just said, Lisa and Aoife O'Rourke in the boxing and Holly, and that, like if people want to go down the track and field or the cross country and all that, there's each child has someone that they aspire to want to be like or whatever, and you know that there's what I mean by it's a lot easier access now. Is there's more kind of, there's a lot of strands for athletics. There's obviously in schools, like primary schools. Years ago there was Mosney and all that. Then there's also obviously clubs, and then the county level, like you were saying there, but also then at university level, and you know that's where, you know, if you're ready, really dedicated to it, like Holly is, and various other great athletes, I suppose, over the years as well, like Sonia O'Sullivan and things like that. Athletes like that, it's great to see it, and you know, like I said, you know, it goes from club, primary school, secondary school, and up into university and things like that, and it's something you'll always be able to do at one level or another.
Yeah, well, it's true. Like we see Holly Kilroe in Roscommon, and she's a wonderful inspiration to all the young kids, especially the young girls, you know. And I remember you'd see her at the indoor events winning medals and the cross country, and if she wears a particular hairband, you'll see a few of the girls wearing that hairband the next time. You know, they love the role models, you know, and it's great to have a local role model. You know, it is. And even you go into the adults, I know I follow the Roscommon Harriers and their runners, and they have runners that do very well in marathons and 10Ks and 5Ks, particularly say Adrian Smith and a few like that, and they'll always follow their time. So those local people are they're very important, and they're wonderful to build athletics in an area, you know. And I suppose for us, getting participation at a young age, getting more kids into athletics, parents want more kids to get into athletics because parents are starting to do the 5Ks themselves. They get involved in running clubs, and everyone says when they're an adult running, why didn't I do that when I was a kid? Like, why didn't I learn how to run properly? Why didn't I learn how to put my foot on the ground properly and learn the proper technique? So that's why you'll see more kids coming to athletics clubs, you know, and getting more involved. And you're right, the parents are very important because they're the people that bring the kids to it and bring them to the events and kind of give them the moral support that they need, you know. And it's very important to remember too with athletics, it's I know we're cross country season now and it doesn't suit some of the field eventers, but athletics kind of caters for everybody in that you have the running events, but you also have the jumping events, the long jumps and the high jumps, but you also have the throwing events, which is the shot put and the javelin and things like that. So you have kids, the run, throw and jump, and it's them kind of three things, and every kid can find something for themselves in between one of those events. Like, and again, they don't have to win anything. It's just taking part, going to a meet and meeting someone again that they've met before, and having their role models as well, be it at shot put, be it at javelin, be it at long jump, high jump, you know, any of those kind of events. And then we go on further to the Olympians we see on the television. Sure, we all remember watching Eamon Coughlin when we were younger, and those kind of Sonia O'Sullivans, and you know, they're wonderful to watch. And yes, the new generation of those now, the Kieran McGeans and Mark English and Andrew Korskin and that Nick Gregg, you know, that young fella. And there's so many of them out there now, and there's the mixed relay team, and there's a huge amount of them, and they are inspiring athletics in young kids. So that's why it's wonderful that Athletics Ireland are sending them to events, that RTE are televising those events and building up a love of athletics in young people and older people.
Yeah,
the older people bring it back to the younger people.
It's all about active lifestyle now as well. And I think from for those that are kids and that they're not involved in the club, I suppose we see now again, that's another aspect of I suppose athletics and running and even walking, and that is charities use it, like runs and walks. And for young kids or even adults, as you just said, if they're thinking, literally from couch to the road or whatever, 5K, 10K, there's a distance for everyone that can run or walk. And I think that's kind of a nice way to kind of ease into it, as in a non-competitive environment, and see how they like it. And then if they want to, from that, then they could say, I like this, I want to do it kind of at a more regular kind of event with a club, and then they can find out their local club and take it from there. And who knows, these could be the future Sonia O'Sullivans or Holly Kilroes or Eamon Coughlin's, all these, and I suppose these are the athletes that when they were kids they aspired to be there, but they never kind of dreamt that they'd be there. And we see with Holly Kilroe, she's the age she is, and we've seen all that she has achieved. As I said, the O'Rourke sisters there in the box and what they've achieved, and they're still young as well. So it just goes to show you what dedication, if you're dedicated to the sport, what you can achieve.
Yeah, well, I think dedication is huge, Aidan, and that's very, very important. And as kids get older and they start to kind of get good at some particular sport, they will actually end up staying at that sport and getting hugely dedicated to it. And when you get to that level, like the O'Rourke's or Holly Kilroe or something, you really do commit 5 to 7 days a week to that sport, like in that event. So it's massive dedication, and it's a job in itself, like, so our top 1% will do that, but I suppose our 99% won't. But it's wonderful to watch that at that level, and it takes some dedication, some commitment. And again, that's where your parents come in. We know Holly's mother drives her up and down to Sligo for training, or to events in Belfast and Dublin, and Fenton and them headed off to the Youth Olympics. So it takes some dedication. But when you love it, you don't care. Like it doesn't feel that way.
That's it. And of course, look at there's the great sides of winning, and then there's people that don't win, but look, it's they're just doing for the love of it. And look, you mightn't win one race, but you win the next race. And of course, it's like with any other sport, of course, there comes the injuries, and that's kind of but that's kind of a test of character as well. And maybe that's to us in a funny kind of a way doing my job as well. It's kind of you need mental. That's where the mental strength comes in as well. And I think that's where mental wellness and mental well-being comes into it too. And I think it's kind of coming more so into it now than we say maybe years ago, or maybe it has always been there, but not to the same extent as it is nowadays.
Yeah, I suppose we do talk about our mental health more, but then you read any of those reports, and they will tell you, any psychologist or psychiatrist, any part of their treatment now is exercise, no matter what. And that can be just walking back to couch to 5K. It can be any event that just gets you outside and gets you moving and eating healthy and acting healthy. It does help our mind as well as our body, so it's very important to have those things. And the elite athletes I think they have a great level of stubbornism. I think you have to have a huge amount of that and really be tough. Like, it's lovely to see that in the elite athletes. They're just tough. But then when they do get the injury, it's that having to stay in and not be able to go and not be able to move. It's hard going, and it does stress them physically and mentally. Like, so you give a huge commitment to a sport, and the next thing you're knocked out with an injury, and you have to be sidelined for a couple of months, and you don't know what's going to happen. You can't train. It can knock you out for a year, maybe more, and it is tough. So it does take a good level of toughness to kind of to balance that and get it right. Like, but that goes from the elite athlete all the way through to our couch to 5K, our person just out for a walk, even just moving around for 5K on a walk, out for a small jog or a run. And that's why that event now will be coming up in January to March. Jackie McCormick and Noel Feely run it there from Lisnamult, from the new sports hub. It's a designated sports hub now, but they run a great couch to 5K in honor of Ronan McCormick, and they have an event, a 5K and a 10K event at the end of it. But it's great to see the people that turn up at that, people that might have ran 10 years ago and say, oh, I need to get back at this again, and they'll do it all the way on to fairly good athletes, and it's they baby steps. They'll bring them all the way, and Noel guide them along for the 8-12 weeks and get them running 5K at the end of it. And that's when you're hoping to stay at it and join their different clubs. And after that, be it adults or kids. And we brought a few of the kids last year, used to train on a Monday and a Wednesday, and they used to take part in it and do their kilometre or 2 and 3 and 4, and eventually get up to 5 and 6 kilometres running. So those are great events that it doesn't always have to be an elite thing. A lovely little event like that is great as well. Anyway.
That's it. And I suppose another thing now, and that brings us on to, I suppose, a feel good piece of news, and that's the funding has been made available now, and the development of the new track up in Lisnamolt as well. You just mentioned the new park; it's fabulous. There's a lovely building there. I suppose AstroTurf pitches, the whole lot. It's great to see it, and I suppose it's great to have those facilities, seeing them on board and getting on board. And I suppose that's kind of something we mentioned off air about, obviously the Comment of Mercy were very good over the years, providing their track and their facilities there as well. But I suppose not now, next up, it's kind of time that's to have a good, proper running track, and that's going to be coming to Athlone now. And of course, you're in the process of getting funding for that, and then the development can get underway. Can you take us through all that?
Yeah, it's probably something that's come up in the last couple of years. Been a few people involved in trying to get it off the ground, and we got together with kind of there are wonderful good people in this Lisnamolt association. It's a kind of a non-for-profit organization. It's just the local community, and like when you see what they've up there already, they've the green fields, they've the AstroTurf pitches, they've the playgrounds. They have the building there that they've now designated as a sports hub, and it's a little community building as well. Like so, they have a field out there that there's this kind of soccer pitch on it. So we've looked at working with them, and we've plans in now to build an 8-lane 400-meter track, and we've applied for a sports capital funding. We haven't got no word on that yet, and we don't have word back on our planning yet. But we've met with the county council a couple of times, and they've been nothing but helpful. We met the new chief executive, Shane Tiernan. He was down to us, and Caution Keneally was down to us, one of the director of services, and they are very keen to get this across the line as well. Now they're helping us with the land and supplying leases on land, and then we'll try and drive to get funding, and we will be aiming to kind of get funding through government, sports capital funding, different things like that, and also I suppose local businesses to try and crowdfund or gather some money for that as well. And over the next 2 or 3 years, we hope to have a tartan or an all-weather track built on that site with a soccer pitch in the middle of it. And it'll be a great facility. Like every county in Ireland nearly has one at this stage, and Roscommon are lagging behind. We just don't have one, and we're the last 20 years waiting for one and looking for one and thinking one was coming. But it would be a great facility in the town. Like you have all your schools there beside it, your secondary schools. You have 3 secondary schools. You have your girls' school, then it's going to be built down Lisnamolt as well. And you have the Coleman's Wood primary schools. So that's just the schools in town, not to mind the schools in all the hinterlands, the primary schools especially, that can come in and take an afternoon and go to a running track. And it's a safe environment where you can bring a good bunch of kids. Like, we see it in Roscommon AC, see it as well when we're trying to train kids during the winter time. You have them in a hall. And really, you're constricted with numbers and space. Whereas if you've got a good running track that's outside, it's you've got so much room there, And then, not just for kids now, but there's a huge safety element in for older people too. If they want to go for a run, there's a lit up track. You don't have to be going around the town where you're in danger of being hit by a car, or you go down. You see a lot of Roscommon, down Ballinagard Road, Godfrey's Road, not lit up. No footpaths. So if you're trying to do a circle around the town, you're taking chances on them kind of roads, and they're very dark. And I suppose for women out running as well, or girls out running, even in pairs, dark roads are not ideal at all. Like we need to step up a little bit on that, and so that's where running track will be very beneficial. And we were down visiting the one in Ballina. They're lately a group of us just to see what it looks like and kind of get ideas. And there was people of every age. There was 2 old pensioners walking around doing their laps. There was a couple of young kids with their family doing a couple of laps. That's what you want to see. Like, I know you'll have the kids and the elite athletes running hard and running fast, but it's everybody. Like, you have a national sports policy now that the government have brought out, and they look at running, swimming, and cycling are the 3 sports that they believe you got longevity in. Because if you look at rugby or football, you can play it to your 30s maybe, but after that, it's not a sport you can kind of compete at as you get older. You're just your body isn't able for it. But walking, running, you can do them kind of things, and jogging. And that's why they want to put in, and they're very keen to put money into infrastructures that'll develop those kind of activities and sports, which we want to be like. You Google it up now, you see 100-year-old person finishing a marathon. Now, not everyone's going to do that, but everybody needs to be out walking, doing exercise, moving around in a safe environment, in a lit up environment, and that's kind of what we're aiming for. It's for everybody, and that's where Listamud Community Group come in, because they're a wonderful kind of group. Like, you look around the town, they're the only one with that kind of drive and initiative that have built up a huge little facility there, and wonderful group. So yeah, it's something to really look forward to, kind of working with them over the next couple of years and get that up and running, and see what happens. Watch this space. But yeah, it's going. We have the plans in, and we're looking at putting a team together to kind of get finance together and get everything sorted. So hopefully in the next 2 years.
That's great, and it's great to have a plan and a target to work through. So I suppose for any parents or any kids or even any adults that are interested in maybe getting involved in a club, I suppose this is an ideal opportunity for yourself as the chairman both of the club and county, to kind of go through the I suppose the different clubs that are possibly in the different localities around County Roscommon.
Yeah, well, there's a good few clubs have built up the last couple of years now, and I suppose you can divide it into juvenile clubs, adult clubs, and then the clubs that have a bit of both. So I suppose we historically had Roscommon AC in town, and that's the kids in Roscommon. And then close enough, Suck Valley is our club, so we'd be based around at League, Dunamon, Craigs, Ballygar, kind of that kind of area. Anyone in around that area, we tend to encourage them to come in our direction. You have Reeside, which is in a crockery. So they go all the way up into Kiltoom and down across into Curraboy. Lockree is Lanesborough. So they have a nice little club there. They're bordering on the Longford, the far side. And also in Lanesborough, we have Lanesborough Tri Club, which is an absolutely brilliant, wonderful club. Like, and they're juniors and juveniles, or juveniles and adults. And it's swim, run, cycle, but they do athletics in there, and you'll often find good triathletes or good athletes. So that's a wonderful club with a huge amount of people in it as well. And then as regards kids clubs after that, Castlereagh Crusaders, wonderful club. They've got adults and kids. Started only a couple of years ago, and they really are flying it. A couple of their kids went on and won All Ireland's in the paired events this year. So yeah, they're really doing well down there. So that's a club, a right good club. And then we have a couple of adult clubs. You have Roscommon Harriers, Sleepbawn AC, they're adults as well, and Boyle AC. And I forgot SRL, they're South Roscommon club that actually do kids as well. So yeah, so you have a mix of adults and juveniles clubs. So doing different things, I suppose the adults, you'd often see them under 5, 10K and progressing towards marathons. A lot of them, that's their aim, is to do a marathon. And you'll find it's great when you see the parents doing that, because they're often their kids will be kind of guided towards an athletics club as well. But we do encourage them to go to your local athletics club. There's always space for you there to try it out. Try out the different events. Like this Saturday now in Dunamon, and we use Dunamon as a grounds for kind of training. The Quishle in Dunamon. So we're going to have the county cross country. So it's Roscommon County cross country. So we'll have kids from Suck Valley AC, Roscommon AC, Reeside, Lockree, Castlereagh, and SRL. And they'll all compete in individual events and relays for their clubs. And then we'll have an overall championship. We have a trophy that Reeside won last year, and we won, Suck Valley won the year before. So it's up for, I think, Castlereagh are trying to win it this year. So there's a wonderful amount of clubs out there, and just knock on the door of any of them, because there's always people open to welcome you in and say, yeah, come and join this club and try it out. See if you like it. Try it for a while. And we'd often have kids, you see it in every sport, Aidan, they'll do it for a couple of years and then kind of go, oh, I've enough of that, I'm going to try something else. But we'd always been trying to leave the door open to say, if you ever want to come back as a teenager or whenever you want to come back in and give it a go again, and that's very important as well.
And I suppose if anyone wants any further information on any of the clubs, I'm sure nearly every club around Roscommon that you've just listed there, they all have a Facebook page with contact information and further details on it. And obviously they'll have posts of all the events. And I suppose like Suck Valley Way Athletic Club have their own. There's information on that and all that, and when there's events like that.
We base ourselves out of Craig's National School on a Tuesday, and we do a bit of training in Dunhammon as well. And as our kids get older, then we find we have an awful lot of younger kids in all our clubs, and then as they get older, we probably have lesser numbers. So what we do try and do is amalgamate a little bit and train together in our older clubs, just to kind of develop the kids. It's all about the kids after it, and they often have friends then and that kind of stuff. Again, to get away from the loneliness of running on your own. So if you have a few more kids, it's good. So we do find you get big numbers when they're younger, and then it falls off as they get a little bit older. But we kind of train it together then.
And it sets them up for a good lifestyle as well. So listen, Donal, thanks very much for taking the time out to do Roscommon athletics with us, and we look forward to talking to you again very soon. And maybe we'll have a look back at the upcoming events as well.
Yeah, thanks. As I say, this Saturday we'll have our local county cross country in Dunhammon, and then we have different events coming up after that with the Connachts and that, and hopefully we'll have a bit of turf turned in our running track the next time we get talking to you, or some start made on it, or a bit of progression with the planning. So that's another space to be watching, and a big development for Roscommon town.
No problem. We'll look forward to hearing the progress on that. So thanks very much. And that was Donal Flynn, the chairman for the county committee, and also Suck Valley Way Athletics Club.